Hello, everybody. I'm the uncle. And happy Easter, Aziz and Pesach. Happy holidays to everybody out there. It's okay. We cover all our bases, brother.
Sounds good.
Okay, we're going to get right to it today because it's been a little while. We want to get to our predictions first, and we'll start with, first let me say this. I don't know if you can see this picture. Can you see this picture here? This is Minnie Mouse. This is Uncle Steven. And this is the starting shortstop for the number 6 rated team in New York State, the Smithtown East Bulls. Smithtown East Bulls. And next year he'll be the starting shortstop for the Mitchell College team. This is only taken 3 years ago. So you can see he's growing.
Right.
He's growing a lot. Okay. All right. Let's start with our predictions. Go ahead.
All right. So we're going to start right here in the East in the American League. I'm taking Toronto. I just think that whole division's loaded, but I see Toronto coming out of it. They have a very good pitching staff, some very good young guys. Obviously, first guy that comes to mind, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's a beast, one of the best pure hitters in the game right now. Can't look over Bo Bichette either, Kevin Biggio. I think they're going to take it, and then I think Boston is going to be a close second there.
So, all right. So the Yankees are out of the money.
I don't think they're out of the money, but I think they're going to be third. Maybe second.
Playoff
Boston
team?
Could be. Playoff team. I see the Yankees as a playoff team.
So the East will have 2 playoff wild cards.
In the American League. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
You want to go with the East?
All right. Yeah. I mean, look, the East, I agree. I think Toronto, this is their year. Their coming-of-age year. I do think the Yankees will finish second. I'm concerned, honestly, because last year the Yankees, for all the question marks about their pitching, they pitched well. They couldn't hit last year. And through 9 games, they haven't hit this year. They haven't hit with men on base. They haven't hit enough. I know we're only 9 games in, but it seems like a continuation of last year to me. So I'm concerned about that, but I still like them second in that division, and maybe the Red Sox third. Okay. Central.
To the Central now. This is a surprise to nobody either, but I'm taking the White Sox. Honestly, I'm not as confident in them. I think Minnesota could be there. I think Minnesota has some guys. Are they as good as the White Sox on paper, talent-wise? No.
They have some injuries too, right? Minnesota.
Do they?
Pitching staff.
Pitching staff, yeah. But, I mean, you have Byron Buxton who's going to produce for you. Max Kepler. You got some guys there.
You do.
But, yeah, the White Sox are better on paper, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Minnesota take it.
Okay. So you think White Sox and Minnesota. I agree with you. The White Sox, I think, are going to be better. They were good last year. They're young. I think they're going to be better now. I think they know it. They're going to have a little bit of swagger.
Tim Anderson.
I don't like Minnesota.
You don't?
Now, you know, I just watched them a couple of games this year, and they lost both of the games, so it's not fair. But I think Cleveland still has good players. I think they still have enough to run second and maybe battle for a wild card. That's my gut. American League West.
American League West. Me and you were actually just talking about this before we started recording.
Right.
There's a bit of a dark horse pick. Some of you may not see it as that, but I'm going to take the Seattle Mariners as them. They were a fringe playoff team last year. They didn't end up making it, but they were right there through the final game of the season that decided it. They got Robbie Ray back, and pitching was kind of what hurt them a little bit last year. Right. They got Robbie Ray this year. Cy Young winner from last year.
Yep.
Dude's a stud. He's going to perform for you all year long, given he stays healthy.
If he does what he did last year.
Yeah.
If he does what he did. But, I mean, a couple of years before that, not so much a stud, yes? Okay.
Yeah. But a lot of people that I've seen, at least, are taking Houston, and they're a good team. I just don't think I see them at the top of that division anymore. Angels are going to be right there, too, in the mix. They got Syndergaard strengthening up their pitching staff a little bit. Obviously, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, David Fletcher. They got some guys, too, and I think that's
Rodon,
yeah.
Top of the order for the Angels are you can't match those first 4 or 5 guys, right? I still like Houston, and let me say this differently. I don't like Houston. I hate those cheating rat bastards.
Anybody does. Yeah.
But I got to give the devil his due. I think they have the best team, and I think the Angels are going to come around and be the second best team in the league.
So you don't see Seattle
Yeah,
finishing in the top
I see
two?
Seattle finishing third. I do. But I can see them making a move. You know, if they could run second, they could even win. It could be if everything falls right for them. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I think the Angels are going to make big strides this year, especially without Trout being hurt. But
Given he stays healthy.
those first 4 or 5 guys, man, they're tough to pitch to. Okay, let's go to the National League, and your New York Metropolitans.
And at least, I mean, is there a little bias here? Possibly.
Possibly. he
Okay.
says.
Okay. Give me the Mets, though. I think Cohen's going out and spending the money. They got Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett. These are 2 all-star pitchers. We got 3 top 10 pitchers in the National League. Well, I don't know if I'd call Bassett top 10. But 3 top pitchers in the
Who's the
National
third? Who's the second? Who's the
DeGrom and
third?
Scherzer. They're both top 10 in that, no?
DeGrom?
DeGrom's number 1 in the entire
He's got to pitch.
obviously.
Yeah. How many games does he pitch?
So far, 0.
Okay.
He'll be back though.
We'll see.
And Scherzer obviously is fantastic. Their bullpen does concern me a little bit.
Yeah.
Diaz has been average this year. One guy that concerns me is Seth Lugo. He just doesn't have it anymore.
The ERA is like 8, isn't it?
It is,
eight
yeah. We
apiece.
lack lefties, which is an issue.
Yeah.
But I do see the Mets with their lineup. If given Francisco Lindor comes back, there's a lot of ifs with this Mets
There
team.
are.
But I think they do have a very high ceiling that they can perform to. Obviously, Atlanta Braves are going to be right there as well.
Yeah.
Defending World Series champions. They
Sure.
did lose Freddie Freeman, but hey, they added Matt Olson to
Yeah,
replace
I mean,
him. That's
that's
not
kind
a
of
big
a
drop
wash.
off
Yeah,
right there.
all right.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Ozzy Albies. I mean, that Braves lineup is just stacked 1 through 8.
It's a good
And
lineup.
9 now, even with the
It's a good
DH,
lineup.
yeah.
It's not the best lineup in the league, as we'll get to.
Yeah.
It's a good lineup.
Oh, you'll hear
and
all
I
about
think
the best
and
lineup.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair to anticipate that Lindor will come back and be more of the Francisco Lindor we knew before
Starling Marte.
than the
addition
guy
was
from
huge,
last
and-
year. Yeah, Escobar. I mean, look, they've got a good team. You can't argue that. I just think the Braves are better. I think at the end of the day, 1 through 12 or 13, the Brave pitching staff is better. That's what I think.
I
Now,
don't know.
if DeGrom comes back and he's the DeGrom that we all know and love, maybe that's different. But he still can't pitch 9 innings. They still got to go to that bullpen at some point. And let's say Diaz is good. Let's just say he's good. He's not going to be great. He's not going to be terrible. Let's just say he's good. They still got to have a bridge to get to him. And it could be a concern. And as much as Cohen wants to spend and is willing to spend, the fact of the matter is it's hard to get a pitcher at the deadline, right? It's easy to get a bat, easier to get a bat, hard to get a starting pitcher, hard to get a shutdown relief pitcher.
I wish the Mets went after Kenley Jansen. Made him
I'll
a
tell
big
you.
offer.
It would make sense. But then they got to give up on Diaz. Maybe they weren't ready to do that. Who knows? But okay, all right. So you think Mets Atlanta?
Mets Atlanta.
I think
Does-
the other way.
I don't know which order that is, but I think whoever doesn't win it will fight for a wild
I
card spot.
agree with that. Exactly. I think it'll be Atlanta Mets, but it could go the other way. And the team that runs second will get a wild card. I agree with that. Okay, Central.
Central St. Louis Cardinals.
Wow.
Yeah. I just like what they're building there. I like Harrison Bader over there. I like Nolan Arenado. I just have a good feeling about this team. I can't really back it up with much, which is bad, but I got to take the Cardinals. Jack
Okay.
Flaherty, he's healthy again.
Flaherty.
He's going to be pretty good.
I don't disagree. I gotta like Milwaukee in that division though.
I can see that.
Their starting pitching is just so good, man.
Corbin Burns.
And they can make a run in the playoffs too. When you got 3 big starting pitchers, as the Mets do, you can make a run in the playoffs. And I got a dark horse for second. I think the Cubs are going to run second. How about that?
That wouldn't surprise me.
That's
honestly.
a little bit of a
I have
shocker.
them as 3. But
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Now we come to the big bad West.
I'll let you start with this one.
Well, listen. I mean, I think the Dodgers are still a class out there. They've got a lineup. I watched them play almost every game. Their lineup is, Ron Darling said it best. It's like death by 10,000 cuts. I mean, they just keep coming at you. There's no soft spot in the lineup. They've got Lux batting 9th. Lux is going to have a breakout year this year. He's hitting like 350.
Who's been DHing so far?
They don't have ADH. That's why they didn't go after I can't think of his name. Guy's 42 years old.
Nelson Cruz.
Cruz. That's why I didn't go after Cruz, because they don't want to have one guy there. They're alternating it. One day they'll have Smith. They'll give him a day off from catching. They'll let him play. They'll give Turner a day off from playing the field.
Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith is a beast, man. I love that kid. But anyway, so I think they're strong. I think their pitching is coming around. That bullpen is a lot better than I thought it would be.
Kimbrel's huge.
Kimbrel Grant was a good get for them, but everybody before him, Phillips, Trinan, these guys are good. Vesia, these guys can pitch.
I would talk to you as soon as Trinan got traded. I texted you and told you about him.
You were a big fan of
him
Trinan
since his days in Oakland.
You were a big fan of Trinan. This guy's got so much movement on the ball.
100-mile-an-hour sinkers.
And evidently, Spite Attack didn't bother him when they took this.
As
it did to some guys. Yes, well, okay. I like the Dodgers to win. I like San Diego to be second. I think San Diego is going to be a close second too. I don't sleep on those Padres. There's a lot of talent there, and I know they're going to be without Tatis for a couple of months, but there's a lot of talent there. I watched that kid Mackenzie Gore pitch last night. This kid's going to be a comer. I don't know how good he's going to be for the rest of this year, but he's going to be around for a long time. He's like 22 years old, I think. He's a kid.
And even they got some other young guys out in San Diego. Jay Cronenworth.
Yep. Well, Cronenworth. Look, I know a lot of people love him. I think he's okay.
Hits for average. His power numbers aren't great.
Right.
But
right.
He'll get the job done.
And I think the Giants will run third. And I think there's a good chance that 2 wild cards come out of that division.
See, I don't see that because I think both the Mets and the Braves are better teams than the Giants are. So I think they will be.
Did you think that last year?
No.
You didn't think the Mets were better than the Giants last year?
In the beginning of the year I did. But as the season kind of went on, it was kind of evident that they weren't.
Okay.
But there is an expanded playoff again this year.
Correct.
So, and I'm not exactly sure how they're doing it, but I heard something about a play-in tournament, kind of like the NBA is doing. I don't know how much validity there is to that. It hasn't really been confirmed yet. But, hey, I think San Diego, San Francisco, the Mets, and the Braves are all going to be competing for 2 wild cards.
I agree. I agree with that. Who's going to win in the West?
Dodgers. I think there's no denying that.
Yes. Okay.
I'd be very surprised if San Diego ended up winning the division.
Do you think San Diego will run second?
I do.
Yeah, they could.
And I'd be very surprised if they came in first, though, over that team. That team is just good.
They
have a 5-deep starting rotation that could perform.
Did you see Heaney's first start?
I didn't, no.
Pitched 4 1/3 shutout innings. Gave up 1 hit.
Wow.
Yeah. Really impressive. I don't know what they're doing. They're having him throw a slider now he never threw before. Because I watched him last year, and he was like batting practice last year.
I guess it's working for him.
I guess. So far. It's a little early. Anything else in the early season come to you? Anything else important?
Nothing really. I just think this is going to be a very exciting season to watch. There's so many good teams this year, so much talent in the league that it's just a treat for baseball fans in general.
Okay. The last thing I want to touch on is the perfect game that wasn't a perfect game that Kershaw threw. There were a lot of people saying they should have left him in. Pitchers today are so soft. And look, he threw 80 pitches in Minnesota when it was 38 degrees. He missed a long time on the DL the last 2 years and was told not to pick up a baseball from September through January and just started working out again in January. And he's 34 years old and he's got a lot of miles, 15 big league years on that arm. They're not in it for a perfect game in April. They're in it for the World Series. And he wanted to go out there, and he's a warrior. He would have stayed out there as long as he could. And I watched that game, and I know his slider, which is his money pitch now, wasn't biting that last inning and a half. It wasn't really biting. So it was a matter of time. I don't think he would have pitched it. Maybe he would have. Who knows? But it was the right thing for him not to stay in that game. Your thoughts?
I don't disagree with what you said, except for one thing. You said they want him to be able to go in the World Series. I'm thinking they want him to be able to go in the NLCS when they lose to the Mets.
Okay.
So,
And on that
that's
note,
the only thing I disagree with.
and on that note, yeah, and this is a message to you young people out there: don't do drugs. I'm the uncle.
I'm the Carvon.
All right, have a great holiday.